Hello students, in this particular video you'll come to understand what is the concept of degrees of freedom, particularly with reference to the gaseous state. So if we consider a molecule containing n number of atoms, right? So as shown in the form of an image, as we can observe, all these atoms in the gaseous states are free to show every kind of motion possible. That means, depending on the kinetic energy of the molecule and the atoms involved within, they can undergo various types of motions like translational, vibrational, and rotational motions. On that basis, we can define the degrees of freedom. So, what is degrees of freedom? It is the number of independent ways in which a molecule or an atom can exhibit motion. To make it more clear to you, let us take certain illustrations. Let us consider a single atom system. Now say for instance, this atom is free to rotate in one direction across this particular axis, right? So definitely how much degrees of freedom is possible in this case? It has associated only 1 degree of freedom, right? So as per definition, that's what we are trying to say. The possible ways in which that atom or a molecule can show its motion, that is its degrees of freedom. Now say for an instance, the same atom is now able to rotate in this way, in the clockwise orientation. Now with reference to the rotation of the molecule, again we can say how many degrees of freedom are possible? Degrees of freedom 1 again in this case. One more thing you need to remember in this case is, with reference to each and every motion possible with reference to an atom, there is an associated energy, definitely, then only it can show that movement. So in case of this particular translational motion, the first case, the associated energy is given by half mv square. What is v in this case? V is the velocity with which it is able to show its movement, right? In case of rotational motion, the associated energy is given as half I omega square, where omega is the rotational frequency with which that molecule or an atom is able to rotate, and I is the moment of inertia associated with that particular atom. Is it clear? Now after this, if I consider the same atom, but now say for instance, it's able to show the translational movement in this way, and it is also able to show the rotational movement in this way, right? That means it has an associated velocity v with reference to the translation motion. It also has an associated velocity or the frequency omega with reference to the rotational motion. Then in such cases, how many degrees of freedom are possible? So there are 2 different ways in which it can show its motion and 2 different associated energies, definitely. So the degrees of freedom now will be F is equal to 2. Okay, now let us take one more illustration, one more example to make it more clear. Let us consider any object, say in the form of a diatomic molecule, right? And it is allowed to undergo projectile motion. That means it has been provided with an initial velocity whereby it will move within reference to this axis, that is x-axis particularly, to a certain extent, and then under the force of gravity it will move towards the ground, that is it will cross the barrier across the y-axis, right? So in this case of 2-dimensional motion, what can you relate with reference to the degrees of freedom? With reference to the translational motion, how many degrees of freedom are possible here? There are definitely 2 degrees of freedom are possible with reference to translational motion. One, the smaller one across the x-axis, and the other one across the y-axis. Now next what we can do is, in the same case, let us consider the same diatomic molecule which is undergoing a rotational motion as well when it is moving through this motion, right? So when it is undergoing, say, rotational motion and moving towards the gravity. So in that case, so that means we are saying the diatomic molecule is rotating clockwise as well when it is moving and coming towards the ground. So with reference to rotational motion, what will be the degree of freedom now? So Fr in this case will be 1, because we are allowing only one possibility of rotational movement, when it is moving or approaching the ground under the force of gravity. Is it clear? So in general, now with reference to both the cases, we have translational degrees of freedom as 2 and rotational degree of freedom as 1. So I hope the concept of how to find out the degrees of freedom with reference to the motion is very much clear, and the definition is clear to you now, right? After that, let us find out how many types of degrees of freedom are possible. With reference to the freedom of movement of a rigid body in three-dimensional space, the body is free to move specifically, as shown in the image, in forward-backward form, upward-downward form, and left to right. Right? That means it can take place in terms of translational across the three perpendicular axes. It can also combine with rotational about this three perpendicular axes, and this rotation is often termed as pitch, yaw, or roll. Right? So when it is termed as yaw, when it is turning left and right, that is when the rotation or the movement is across left and right positions, that is termed as yaw. When it has been tilted side to side, it is termed as roll, and when it is tilted forward and backward, it is often termed as pitch. So the rotation also takes place across the three perpendicular axes, right? So depending on these three types of motion in particular, there are three types possible. So first is FT, that is degrees of freedom with reference to the translational motion. Next is FR, degrees of freedom with reference to the rotational motion. And next is FV, that is degrees of freedom with reference to the vibrational motion. Now let us consider the case of monoatomic gas. Right? Now in this particular case, what you can consider, since we are talking about monoatomic gas, that means we know atoms are negligible in size and they are spherical in shape. So we are taking the same thing and trying to explain it with the help of an image and understand it very finely. See here. So this spherical atom, if we are considering that it is aligned with reference to the center of gravity exactly at the center point whereby the three mutually perpendicular axes are coinciding, right? So what can you say about the translational degrees of freedom in this case? So whenever you consider, when you need to consider a translational motion, you need to check it out that translational motion of the molecule should be such that it causes changes in the center of the gravity of the molecule, right? So if you're moving this particular atom, you can move across x-axis, you can also move it across y-axis, you can also move it across z-axis. So how many translational degrees of freedom are possible? 3. Now if you want to find out how many rotational degrees of freedom are possible. So what can you observe in this case? Since the atom is exactly at the center position over here, right? That means in such case, the moment of inertia possible for that particular atom is 0. And if the moment of inertia I is equal to 0, then what can you say about the associated energy with reference to the rotational motion? We have already seen. What was the associated energy? It is given by half I omega square. So I is 0. That means definitely the rotational degrees of freedom comes out to be 0. So in case of monoatomic gas, how many motions, how many degrees of freedom are possible? We have only 3 degrees of freedom with reference to the translational motion which are possible. Now let us take an example of a diatomic gas. Now when we need to consider a diatomic gas, that means we are talking about 2 atoms of negligible size. Say that diatomic molecule is present along the z-axis, say in this way, right? So now let us find out the various possible degrees of freedom in this case. How many translational degrees of freedom are possible? It's again 3 because the molecule can easily move across all the 3 coordinate systems, right? What about the rotational degrees of freedom in this case? Since it is present exactly or coinciding with reference to the z-axis, so there are only 2 rotational motions possible for it. One is around the y-axis and the other around the x-axis. However, around z-axis it cannot show the rotational motion. The reason being, it is exactly present across that axis, because of which the moment of inertia I will be equal to 0, and definitely the associated energy will be equal to 0. And so how many rotational degrees of freedom are possible in this case? It is 2. So in the case of diatomic system, the total degrees of freedom possible are F is equal to 3 plus 2, that is equal to 5. Say we want to also find out what about the vibrational degrees of freedom in case of diatomic systems. So as far as the vibrational degrees of freedom are concerned, now we can consider this particular vibrational motion to be in the form of a spring, right? So since we are comparing it with reference to a spring, we can say that it will definitely possess certain mechanical energy, and that mechanical energy can be distributed in the form of potential energy as well as kinetic energy. So such vibrational motions are found to have kinetic energy of the type half mu v square, and also they have associated potential energies of the type half kr square, right, where r is the internuclear distance between the atoms which we are talking about, or any diatomic systems if we are talking, or polyatomic systems, then the internuclear distance is given by r, right? So corresponding to each kind of energy, we know there is an associated degree of freedom. That means for diatomic systems, if you also consider this particular vibrational motion, then how many possible degrees of freedom are there? So total degrees of freedom will be now 3 due to translational motions, 2 due to rotational motion, and 2 due to vibrational motion. So 2 due to vibrational motion is particularly one motion due to the kinetic energy associated with it, and the other due to potential energy associated with the vibrational motion. Is it clear? So that makes a total of 7 degrees of freedom in case of diatomic gaseous system. After that, let us try to find out the case for triatomic or polyatomic systems. If we place a polyatomic system like methane, right, having a tetrahedral arrangement across this 3 Cartesian coordinate system, then we can observe that the moment of inertia associated with it across all the 3 perpendicular axes is not equal to 0. That means I can very clearly say Ix, Iy and Iz is not equal to 0. Why it is so? Because all the atoms involved within that particular molecule does not exactly coincide with any of one of the axes, right? So it has its own moment of inertia. So on that basis, what you can say, how many translational degrees of freedom are possible for polyatomic systems like methane? There can be 3 translational degrees of freedom. And how many rotational degrees of freedom? Again, the rotation is possible across the 3 coordinates, across the 3 coordinate axes. That means there are 3 possible rotational degrees of freedom as well. So this is a particular case for non-linear systems. If you need to consider it for linear systems, so what can you observe? Say an example for linear system as carbon dioxide. We know it is a linear molecule of this type, right? So what about this? How many degrees of freedom are possible? How many translational degrees? 3 translational degrees definitely. It can move easily across the 3 axes. So 3 translational degrees of freedom are possible. How many rotational degrees of freedom are possible? Here, just try to observe here. So I am considering this carbon dioxide molecule whereby carbon is exactly in the center, right? And now you want to say this particular molecule is coinciding with reference to the x-axis, right? So since it is coinciding with the x-axis and it is a linear molecule, that means the moment of inertia across the x-axis will be equal to 0. When moment of inertia is equal to 0, that means definitely the rotational degree of freedom is not possible around the x-axis. So we are left with only 2 rotational degrees of freedom. One is around the y-axis and the other around z-axis. So accordingly we can say how many rotational degrees of freedom are possible? 2, right? So let us try to find out the total In case of carbon dioxide molecule, how many rotational degrees of freedom are possible now? So total degrees of freedom will be 3 for translational and 2 for rotational. That makes a total of y rotational degrees of freedom possible. However, we need to remember that vibrational degrees of freedom is tricky to understand and to find out. Rather, that number depends on the atoms in the molecule and their arrangement, right? So in case of methane, we have seen that there are 5 atoms involved within that molecule having 4 similar types of bonds. So however, in that case, the vibrational degrees of freedom you can easily find out. But as the system becomes more complicated, like in diborane case, the vibrational degrees of freedom calculations goes on becoming more complicated, right? So we are rather clearly concentrating on 2 concepts here. One is with reference to the rotational degrees and the other with reference to translational degree. One more thing I'd like you to specify. You have to remember it always that your rotational degrees and translational degrees of freedom are possible at normal temperatures, at room temperatures. However, the vibrations of molecules are only possible at very high temperatures. So in any kind of competitive examinations, say for instance you have been asked to find out the degrees of freedom for a particular system, you have to be very clear there. If they have asked you for calculating it at very high temperatures, then you would be calculating vibrational degrees of freedom. But at normal or room temperature, you did not calculate the value for vibrational degrees, because that vibrational motions cannot exist and the corresponding degrees of freedom cannot exist at normal temperatures. Is it clear? That's for today. Thank you for watching.